Salve a tutti e benvenuti in questo nuovo video. Tra poco seguirà l'intervista che abbiamo fatto insieme a Nicola a Jeff Laubenstein, uno degli artisti più iconici del mondo di Magic. Colgo l'occasione anche per ringraziare nuovamente Boose MTG e tutti quanti i suoi collaboratori e ragazzi che lavorano con lui per lo spazio e il tempo soprattutto che ci ha fatto, dedicare dagli artisti per queste domandine. Buona visione.
Okay, so hi, we're here with Jeff Laubenstein. Is it correct? Laubenstein. Close enough. And I'm gonna ask him a few questions. We're at Damnation Fest 2024. Number three. And the first question I'm gonna ask you is, you've been MTG artist for a while. At the start, but not really at the start. Can you tell something more about that?
I've been a role-playing game artist since 1986. I was working in the industry for several years before Magic began. So when Jesper Meerfors was looking for artists in 1992, he asked myself, the fellows I was working with, and almost all the artists at Gen Con that year to become Magic artists. Now my boss said, no, that's competition, you can't do that. But 4 or 5 years later, he said, sure, go ahead. So for the rest of the time Jesper was the art director, I got some pretty good cards. And I'm grateful that some are still in play today.
Yes, and those cards are remarkable for their vibrant colors, I think, and for the stories they tell.
That's a good point.
Because, and you always talk about how you like to put little Easter eggs in the cards. Can you explain to us some of them, or maybe
well, let's see if I can remember any.
We then put the card on the video. So
all right, well, first things first, you talked about the colors and the vibrancy. As an artist and an art director, I thought I'm painting postage stamps, so they're really, really small pictures. So I used a heavy line for an outline, and I used really pure colors because when the painting shrunk down, I wanted all the details to show up. So that's why they look the way they are. When you blow them up, they're very cartoony. But that's the reason that they pop when you look at the cards. As for Easter eggs, let's see. Well, there are things in the cards that relate to my life. I'm a fan of fossils, so in Metronome there is a trilobite. I also like Egyptology, so there's a scarab in that one. I was drawing stuff that I thought was interesting, so people ask, what's your favorite card? I like all of them. There are things that I like in all the cards. Let's see. I liked, it's not really an Easter egg, but I was a big fan of King Kong and Planet of the Apes, so Apes of Wrath sort of reflects that a little bit. When I painted Doughty Horror, they said I need a monster with a red background. That was it for descriptions. So I thought, I was a Trekkie. Oh, it's Captain Kirk fight. So I did this big rubber-headed gray monster with an orange background, like the original Star Trek series. So that was the idea behind that one.
And what about Recurring Nightmare? I kind of recognize how I don't remember the name.
People think it's the same guy from Show and Tell.
No, I refer to the monster.
The monster.
The monster is like a mimic. It reminds me kind of a mimic from D&D. I don't know if it existed back then.
It was just something that I thought was scary. Literally, the art direction was, you need a guy having a bad dream. My daughter just found a Polaroid of me on a pillow. That's actually, it must have been the original idea that I then drew out. I had forgotten about it, but she found it last weekend.
Very good, very good, very good.
So,
you were saying that the guy from the...
People think that the Show and Tell guy and the Recurring Nightmare are the same guy grown a little older. but they're not. It's just the way I draw.
Okay, and so how do you, what technique do you use? Do you use?
I use acrylics thin down to watercolor consistency. So all the light areas are the paper coming through a transparent layer of color. I'm not painting opaquely, I'm painting in layers.
Okay, very interesting. And since also, this is the last question, Robert, since also Randy is here,
Yeah.
and you both have Mark Nelson as a teacher, I would like you to ask, what figure was he during your career, both as a student and then later? Because he also did some magic cards.
Sure. Well, since he was an illustration teacher, a lot about pen and ink drawing. And as a role-playing game artist, I did thousands of black and white drawings with a dip pen and a bottle of ink. And the techniques I learned from Mark and the appreciation for black and white line art continued in my professional career and is still important when I draw. If you see me at the show, I'll have a bottle of ink and I'll do drawings at the shows, just like it's the 1700s. A quill. That's old school.
Yeah, very old school. Thank you very much for your time and for the answers. Thank you very much.
I wish you all the best. Thanks for keeping the cards alive.
Bye.